Okay, so we're down in the murder room, as Carissa would say, but this is where I do my coating, and basically it can be any room with tungsten lighting. It could be a kitchen, it could be anything. It's nothing special. I'm going to show the different tools that we use, and you know, you get an idea how sophisticated we are versus, you know, some of the other people that will talk about printmaking. We're pretty simpletons here. Okay, so if we're doing a platinum palladium, we're using the platinum and the ferric oxalate. You're working with very small amounts of chemistry. You're working with very expensive chemistry. The chemistry for platinum palladium, if you have to make a 16 by 20 print, you need about 3 mils of chemistry, which, you know, if you're buying a 25 mil bottle of palladium from Vistek and Sullivan, you're looking at somewhere around 80 bucks landed wherever you are in the world, right? So, you know, you can get 6 prints for 100 bucks. That's quite expensive. So we use a pipette system with that. So we get precision measurement. Now, the pipettes, one side is for the ferric oxalate, and so we use palladium and ferric oxalate 1:1. So one side hooks on to the pipette for the palladium. We pop it off. We pop on the second one for the ferric oxalate. We use a 1:1 ratio, so it's pretty dead nut simple. You find out what your mixture is, and you know, if you pull it out here, you throw it in a shot glass. Then you get rid of your pipette, you go into the ferric oxalate one, and you put it on, and you pull out the same amount. Precision every single time. Pop it into the shot glass, which you can buy at a dollar store for 10 cents, and mix it. Now, in all due respect to Vistek or all the different platinum palladium printmakers I've ever seen on YouTube or videos that like this, they all talk about the drops. You give me a break. Use a pipette. Like when it's so expensive, are you kidding me? You're going to count out 16 drops or 25 drops or 50 drops? I'd rather have my teeth pulled out than do that. So this is probably, in this area, the most expensive device. It's a Eppendorf pipette system, and this is what we use. We have one really beautiful brush, which, you know, when it hits your skin, it's just lovely. It's really nice, and this is for platinum palladium. We have a couple of these really nice brushes that Vistek can sell to you, and they're really nice for coating paper. So on platinum palladium, we use a shot glass, pipettes, and we measure out our chemicals the same. Now for gum, as we said in the very first video, we're using Daniel Smith pigments. So you can see behind me all the different pigments, right? So they're all mixed, pre-mixed, you know, basically by a formula that Christina Anderson has in her great book on gum printing. She's a great gum printer, and her book is the go-to for this. There's I mentioned Stephen Livick. Now I'm going to mention Christina Anderson. She is awesome, and you know, all these ideas come from her. You know, mixing, pre-mixing, you know, all her ratios, everything that I'm doing with gum. I got to thank Christina for laying down the basics in a very well-defined area. Her book is on Amazon. I'm sure you can Google her name, Christina Anderson, and buy her book. You need her book because it will dispel a lot of the problems when working with gum. So with gum, all we have, here's my little receiver tray, and I keep on using these over and over and over again, right? I am not a precision gummist. I am not a precision printer by any way. I like to work and I like to lay stuff down. So we're going to lay down a pigment. But we're going to get a piece of paper, and we got this Hannibal paper. It's been pre-shrunk. Pre-shrinking is really important. And for duotones, you don't have to mount to aluminum because it can handle 2, maybe 3 uses. After about 3, I get a bit dicey and I start mounting to aluminum. I use gum arabic. I go to the dollar store and buy these. You can buy 30 of these for a couple bucks, right? So all my gums kept there. My brush is a Home Depot brush, you see, but we cut the corners so that we don't get that sharp edge creating a line when we do this. So our brush is, this is a brush in waiting. Here's the brush we use for our first coating. So we have a mixture container that we mix our 3 elements together. Gum bichromate and then ammonium dichromate. I use ammonium dichromate 10% solution. I was talking to other workers and everybody does it differently. And for me, this is what works. I don't get myself wrapped around what other people are doing. I work with it until I feel comfortable that it works for me. And in my world, this is what works. So it's a 10% ammonium dichromate solution. You got to be very careful. This is very, very caustic. Christina in her book will describe what this is and how it has to be handled with great care. And we mix into the shot glass for that. So we use a different brush. It's the same brush, but I use this a lot for gum. I do a lot of gum printing now. I do more gum printing than anything in this lab. And I use this beautiful brush for my final, smooth it out, make it look nice. So the last little thing is the devices to take the pigments out. And I get these. You can go to any medical supply office and they're a 10 cc units, and I found these to be perfect for pulling gum, pulling pigment, pulling dichromate, and we're going to do that next.